What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, well, we have another town hall in the books. I apologize. There's no town hall summary for me to reference anymore. No official town hall summary for me to reference, and I don't know if there's I haven't seen written ones lately, but I do know some other video content creators do cover them in a more summary format. But welcome back. This is the 5 biggest takeaways. It is not a summary, just for a reminder for those who might be new to the channel or are new to the series. I just want to talk about the 5 things that stuck out to me with this most recent town hall. And I figured a great starting page to show you is how many Chaos Legion packs have been either sold or burned. And we are sitting at 10.68 million. And I'm going to throw a little salt to get this dish nice and ready out the oven. We were hoping for some kind of summoner stats. We were hoping for some kind of info on the airdrop card or the promo card that's going to be airdropped with each of the packs. We didn't get either of those. We did get the Ancient Redwood, so the Rift Watchers next airdrop stats that came out. It wasn't even in the town hall. It came out in a post like earlier in the day. But as you can see here, I mean, we're crawling right along. I mean, maybe doing 1,000 packs a day, if that. So we're like a good couple of months away. I don't know if they were trying to build up some hype. I think the card looks cool. I did a separate video on it. You can go check that out. But I would have much rather gotten a some kind of update on Possibilis, which is the next upcoming airdrop summoner, or the promo card. That would have been cool. But let's go ahead and jump right in. I guess, will I continue a little bit more salt? No, it was a good town hall considering that they were out last week. I will say, so Matt wasn't on. It was aggroed and the usual like Chatter, Nate, and Weirdbeard. Just being honest, it felt a little fluffier than usual, although there were some interesting tidbits that were dropped mainly in the Q&A, which is what I'm going to focus on. But we do have some cool stuff coming up. I'm just curious if they're waiting to have like, a major town hall next week, if Matt's going to be on and it's going to be the day before the, last potential release of the year, which would be December 13th. So, maybe this is just kind of like a stopgap. One of those things where they hope to get everything out by next week. They shared. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I take that back. They actually dropped quite a bit for Land 0.5. So we're going to jump into that, and I'll bring you over into the Discord to take a look at some of those. So first things, Battles 2.0. In tomorrow's update, or depending on when you're watching this, on the update that is scheduled for 12.6, they're going to do some database stuff. But they didn't call it Battles 2.0, but they said there's going to be some new sound effects, new music, and there's going to be music on every single page. Now, I'd heard about this a while back. I didn't work on any of the projects specifically, but I know people who did. I know the people that were working on that music, for example, or working on like the sound effects for the characters. I believe that's what's going to be implemented tomorrow. And I know that I've been one of those people saying, oh, Battles 2.0 seems like it's way far out, at least in terms of like priority, but they're going to get it out tomorrow. So I stand corrected. Again, they didn't call it Battles 2.0, but maybe this is Battles 1.5 of what they're trying to get to eventually. So I'm excited for that. It'll actually make me want to play the game with the audio on, because usually I'm listening to music or something else or whatever the case is. So I'm curious to try. I'm curious to play the game tomorrow or whenever this release is out for that alone, because I think it'll add a little bit more immersion into the game, which is important. Okay, number 2, we got a little bit of an update. We got a teaser on Land, but on the 12/13 update, so the December 13th update that's coming in, they are still planning to do Land. And somebody later on asked, what's happening with Rooney? Are we going to get this thing playable before the end of the year? I did not think that whoever answered it, I think it was Investigator, whoever answered it did not sound confident at all. And I'm not throwing shade at them. I'm just saying, like, either they're just skeptical of this actually happening before the end of the year. It sounded more like, yeah, we're going to try for next week. But I'm hopeful that we can still get, I was hoping that we get like Rooney tomorrow and land next week, right? Like those are the two big ones that I've been holding out for. Battles 2.0 or Battles 1.5, whatever this is going to be called. It's nice, but it wasn't what we had talked about. In fact, it wasn't even on my radar anymore. So hopefully we can still get something with land. Rooney, I'm not sure, but I'm just giving you the fact that they said they're still trying to get it out by the end of the year. Now, keep in mind, they could still do a maintenance window later on, right? So what would that be, on December 20th or December? I highly doubt they're going to do anything on December 27th. I think everybody's just going to be off like that week, right? That's the week literally between holidays. So maybe if there's something that they want to push, something small, right? That might happen on the 20th, but they keep saying that 12/13 is like their drop dead date, that they want to just go into planning mode from there and then come back and hit the ground running in the beginning of the new year. So let's go over to, and I'm curious if they have this up in iCandy already. Yep, they do. Okay, so here we have the map for Pretoria, which is pretty cool, right? Like now we get to see it in all of its glory. There's a bunch of different numbers on here. I'm assuming to represent all the different regions that are available. You have 7 different, I forgot what Nate called them, but they're like, not nations or obviously not continents, but it's just like 7 different areas within Pretoria. So this is massive. If I remember Nate correctly, he said that Middle Earth, the entirety of Middle Earth, would fit only into a single one of these smaller, chunks of Pretoria. So this is supposed to be a massive, massive place. It's exciting. I want this island right here. I think that'd be pretty sweet. But I highly doubt my land is going to be on there, and it doesn't look like there's actually any land. Although it'd be interesting if they did something in the future to like, oh, okay, this land here, they're going to release like more land on just the, I don't know, whatever. We'll see. I'm just speculating. They've said they're never going to release more land, but you never know what might come up in the future. It's just weird that these don't have numbers on them. So yeah, this looks pretty cool. I would be excited to see if I redeem my land claim or plot claim for a land deed, where that ends up being. Although keep in mind, I did see something in the comments where Nate was replying to someone. Someone said like, oh, like such and such area doesn't look like it has much water in it. And Nate then like posted a picture, like not a picture, but a map of the U.S. and said like, when you're zoomed out that far, you can't really see rivers or lakes or small ponds or whatever. So, again, this is why I personally, I mean, I'm glad they're going to get 0.5 out, but I personally am not like super excited because it's like, oh yeah, cool. Like my spot is like there somewhere, right? Or I'm here in the Texas of Pretoria, or here in the Michigan of Pretoria, right? Like I don't know what it's necessarily going to mean. So hopefully, it'll tide people over. Again, I don't really care about land though, right? There are people who really want this stuff, and they have regions of plots that they want to start, working or understanding and organizing. So hopefully this will be able to tide them over for the next couple of weeks until we can get the full land phase 1, which if you watched my video yesterday, I was hoping that we will get several things within the first 6 weeks of next year, but that could be wishful thinking. That's the timeline that I'm trying to shoot for myself, or at least in terms of just level set my expectations. This is what your land is going to look like. Again, none of this is in the Mav chat. What is that called? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna blank right now. None of this is in the test server. Sorry, that's what I meant to say, which is available to those in the Mav chat. So this is just a screen grab that was shared by Nate. This is how, I guess the land market is going to look once things are available. And they didn't post here, but I want to see if I can find it. Nate posted actually quite a few things. So here you can see where he's talking about the U.S. So each of these deed locations is going to be organized with this kind of ID, right? So there's going to be a deed ID where it's going to have your Pretoria. I guess it is called the continent. No, the continent is Pretoria territory. So it's going to show you one of these territories, and then it's going to give you a region within that region number, a track number, and then a plot number. So as you can see from this, it looks like, this will break down and you'll be able to zoom in or zone in on wherever on the map makes sense to whatever you own or whatever you want to look at. So again, I don't this looks like forest to me. This looks desert-y. Part of this looks desert-y too. I don't really know. I mean, I would love to be in the lands of prosperity if that means anything, but or the shimmering coasts. Right now, those are the two standing out to me. But we'll see how it goes when I reveal my land plot or at least the location of it. Okay, let's get back into this. So we also had, well, we didn't get the stats for the new promo card. We did get, I thought, some interesting information. So obviously, as a play on this massive bear market that we are in, there is Archimus the Bear, which is going to be this promo card that's available right now. Sorry, not available right now, but available with the pack sales that are happening right now. So here is the artwork that was given for Archimus the Bear. Aggie said that he wants this bear to be doused in salt, and it sounds like it might just be called Cocaine Bear. I don't know. There was a running joke on that. If you're familiar with Cocaine Bear, then maybe you'll get it. But it's I think the only thing that I heard, again, we didn't get stats. The only thing that I heard is I think it's going to be 12 mana. So it's going to be a massive bear. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard Nate slip that it was going to be 12 mana, but the stats weren't finalized yet, and he didn't want to share them, or he didn't have them yet. I think it was the Water Summoner, which here's a little bit more eye candy for the Water Summoner, who's not a dragon, but a Leviathan from the future. So looks like a blue dragon to me, but Leviathan from the future it is, named Possibilis. So that's what we have for Archimus the Bear. I can't wait until we get the stats. And if this thing is actually 12 mana, I want to see what it will actually be able to do. But it sounds like a card you'll want to have. And if I'm going to speculate just a little bit here, I think, we haven't gotten the rarity yet. I highly doubt it's going to be legendary. Maybe epic, but it sounded as though they wanted to go with common, maybe rare, right? So those are where I would put my money right now, and maybe even like a 50-50 split between those two, which is significant because it's going to take 400 copies to max out a common version of this versus 115 to max out a rare version. So, if you're planning to buy packs, or if you have been buying packs, maybe just keep that in mind. Again, I think many people are waiting to see how many packs they need to buy, but I'll be honest, if I was the team, I would make this thing a common. Make everybody who wants one buy 400 packs. That's just the smart thing to do. So we'll see how that actually plays out. Okay, now let's get into the fun stuff here. These next two are from they're from the Q&A session at the end. Sorry, this is super bright, so I'm going to change it back here. We can look at Archimus. So phasing out CP is something that Aggie mentioned, because people are asking what the plan is with collection power in the future, and how it really just acts as this kind of artificial gate for where the leagues are at. And Aggie responded saying that a lot of the changes that they have put in, including the most recent one, which limits the amount of rewards you can earn based on your card level, is good enough, right? Now, I don't know how leagues are going to work then, because I think leagues will still need to be determined, unless they will only be determined by your rating, which could get very interesting, because what happened, what if leaderboards just completely go away? For example, I think it's 2,800 for, between gold and diamond. So it's just if you pass 2,800 in the future and there's no such thing as collection power, I guess you can choose not to advance if you really wanted to, but maybe there just won't be any collection power associated with it, and you will just be in a league where your cards should be able to be competitive at. And if you don't have competitive cards, but you are still winning, right, with lower level cards, then your earnings will be nerfed, which is the case already. So I thought that was interesting. I know that the team, and they've mentioned this in several town halls already, that, collection power, they're not really sure what they want to do with it. They want to change it around. People think that they want to give it some kind of utility, and I thought collection power would actually be important for land. But the problem is, and the reason I thought it would be important for land is because that's really the only way you can designate some kind of additional value for the older alpha and beta cards. And so it's just okay, well, let's say you want to work your land and you can, use X amount of monsters. Well, those X amount of monsters provide, X times 6, whatever it is, that the number of like total collection power. It's not X times 6, but whatever it ends up being, right? Like, it's the total collection power. So if you throw in a common Chaos Legion common card or common rewards card versus like an alpha legendary card, gold foil, like that thing is going to work your land so much better, right? That was the thought process that I thought that I had heard, or it made sense to me. If they remove CP completely, I don't know how that works, but it kind of makes sense because if you think about how nerfed CP is today versus a lot of these older cards, and we can actually maybe even go back and see. I would just be curious to know, right? If you go to alpha cards, right, and let's just look at alpha commons, for example. This thing has 30 CP, right? So this first one is 30 power versus the newer cards, which are 5 power. So that's like 1/6 of the value. So the question then becomes, when Rebellion comes out, I mean, what is that going to be at? If we look at, let's go back to sale. Let's go to Untamed, right? So you had Alpha, then you have Untamed Common. This thing dropped to 10, right? So this is 1/3 of where the alphas are at. Now we're at 1/6 of where the alphas are at. Like how low can we go? Is Rebellion going to come out and the commons are going to be 2.5 or 3 or 2, right? Like if that's the way that they're going to delineate it, it's just going to be an eventual race to 0, right? At some point, one of these future expansions is going to be less than one CP, and so and it'll just be infinitesimally smaller with every pack set that comes out beyond that. So, getting rid of CP obviously takes care of that, but I feel like it may cause a certain other subset of problems. Although I'm saying that it's a subset of problems because I don't know how the team is viewing this as a whole. I'm just saying that I see value for the older cards not being retained as well if you remove pretty much one of the only things that is holding value for them right now, right? Obviously, that was a big thing during the SPS airdrop. I don't know what it looks like. I mean, maybe they just do it by edition, where like certain editions get bonuses on land, the way that certain editions get bonuses in ranked play right now. Who knows how it works? But CP, I will admit, and I think the team is right for doing it. CP is not a great fit for the long term. So nipping this thing in the bud right now and figuring out a better solution in the long run, I think is a good move. But just thought that was interesting. Wanted to share it. Let's go back. And number 5, last but certainly not least. In fact, this is probably the most interesting comment that I heard. Somebody had asked Aggie, about the Soulbound rewards cards, and saying that, how does he feel about the fact that players who come into the game and level up the rewards cards, but then, versus new players who might come into the game a year from now, for example, when there's a different set of rewards cards out there, if these cards remain soulbound, what is it like for those players in the future to never have those cards, right? Like, how does he feel about that? And that's something that I brought up as a concern where, as of now, like I said, I can go in and I can buy any rewards cards that I want, no matter how old they are, Ruler of the Seas, Almo Cambio, it doesn't matter what set they're from. I can go in and buy them. The market is dictating the price. And as long as I have the money, I can go buy those cards and play with them. Whereas in the future, if somebody has the capital and they want the cards, they won't be able to get them unless, they buy an account that has them. But I don't really know. I mean, I think that there will be buying and selling of accounts. I don't think it's going to be as prevalent as people believe it will be, but you never know. And I would definitely be very, very skeptical, or, do your research and make sure, because I think there's going to be a lot of people who fall for scams at that point if we do get there. But Aggie's response is what I wanted to share with you because it was very interesting. He said that he wants to get the game to a point where everybody has a different collection of cards. Not everybody shouldn't be playing with all of the same cards, which I think is a symptom of what happened with Chaos Legion. Now, if you remember, when Chaos Legion was first announced, 15 million packs versus 1.5 million in Untamed, I think 900,000 in beta and 300,000 in alpha, right? So 15 million packs meant that I believe it was over 80, between 80 to 85% of all cards in the game would be Chaos Legion assuming all the packs were open. Obviously, we're not even close to that right now in terms of how many pack sales do we have? We've had 10.6 million, but it's obviously less in terms of the amount that have been opened and are circulating within the game. So we're not even at 80%, but I would say that Chaos Legion is still extremely dominant in many cases. In fact, like you could get to champion, is what I'm hearing, with just a maxed Chaos Legion deck in certain instances. Obviously, there's other cards that help. I'm not trying to say that Untamed doesn't have value. I'm just saying that with everybody kind of having the same cards, it's just like with everybody having the same cards and everybody having the same bots, it's just like, okay, well, it's my bot versus your bot. The lineups are going to be pretty much the same if we all have maxed out decks, right, of all of the same cards. So I actually found Aggie's kind of approach to this somewhat interesting. Like, what if the older players kept their benefits, right, there's no, let me put it this way. What if all those older alpha cards, all these older alpha legendaries, for example, let's go to, whoops, not that one. So Ruler of the Seas, Lord, Arianthus, like what if these cards were not available on the market and you just joining the game now, you didn't have them, but you would go up against players who had them. And that was the benefit of joining the game at an early time and having that proof of time element within the game. And having that value stay within your account for the long run. I actually feel good about that. I'm not sure. I haven't thought through all the implications, and I'm open to you guys poking holes in it in the comments. But it's an interesting concept because obviously we're about to go run out of the ones that we have now, the Jin O'Shaughnesses and Venari Wavesmiths of this edition, which are not Soulbound. But when we do get to this next Soulbound, and I'm assuming there will be an element of, I don't know about a time limit. I don't know if it's going to be a time limit or a BCX limit, but I would assume that they would want these cards to last, I don't know, anywhere from 6 to 12 months, right? 6 months would get us to roughly when Rebellion would come out, which I would assume there would be a new set of rewards cards for Rebellion. Or if they just want, a 12-year cycle for the rewards cards, maybe they just come out at the beginning of every single year. That's kind of cool because imagine we still have a further bear market in 2023, and the market doesn't really turn around until 2024 when new players start coming in. Well, guess what? If you are here and have been playing, you will get all of those Soulbound rewards cards. Hopefully max them out in your account. And when these new players come, their reality is just the fact, their reality is just, when you join, you start leveling up your deck. You'll never catch up with the older folks, which I think is still going to be a contentious point, even just saying it out loud right now. But there will be other cards in which you can max your deck by paying for them, right? So obviously anything that comes with packs. So Rift Watchers, Chaos Legion, and then Rebellion, and it's associated with whatever that comes in the future. So again, I don't know what that necessarily looks like in the future, but it was an interesting thought from Aggie, and I don't dislike it. In fact, I'm kind of appreciating it as somebody who's been in the game now for about a year and a half, and in terms of thinking, like, what is it that the OGs have? Because a lot of these OGs, like the cards have started to fall in value, and I get that. Like, I think I know there's a lot of hate on the whales and the Mavs and the OGs. I don't necessarily have that. I understand wanting to have your assets preserve value, because all the people who are here now who bought their Chaos Legion packs a year ago, when they were $4 a pop and the cards were going crazy, and now you're seeing the prices just absolutely crater. Yeah, it doesn't feel good, right? So can you imagine if you were in a game where the cards you bought 3-4 years ago were, are also tanking in price? Like, again, we all want our assets to appreciate in value. And obviously the new Soulbound reward cards are not going to be, they're not going to have value, but they're going to be things that can bring you value within the game if they're usable, if you use them right, and they're part of your collection and completion. You might even be able to use them on land. Who knows? So they could have value in that sense too. So those are the 5 big things I wanted to share with you. A couple bonus ones. I believe on December 9th, there is a new Ghost card tournament that Weirdbeard had mentioned. So if you're interested in doing that, make sure you check it out. It is a bronze level one, so I will tell you right now, I don't feel confident in bronze at all. So I'm probably going to pass on it. But for those of you who do like the bronze meta, check it out. that's an opportunity for you to go play. I think not that it even matters, but I think it's going to be gold foil, so at least all the cards will look super shiny, and you get access to everything, and it's wild from what I saw. And then the other bonus thing is that there is a Brave partnership as well, something with Bean Crypto. I've never heard of Bean Crypto before, but obviously the Brave partnership is cool. It sounds like they're working with the Brave browser for a month or something. They're getting like a free month with them to be the only crypto ad on there, or crypto gaming ad on there. Now I know people are always like hating on marketing and being like, oh, what's the game doing? These ads aren't enough, or whatever the case is. Well, I've met several people. In fact, I've met a surprisingly high amount of people who have found the game and gotten into it and are like high level players because of a Brave ad. So them doubling down on the Brave partnership, I think, is a great idea. But those are the 2 bonus things. These are the 5 biggest takeaways. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Would love to know how you're feeling as we round the corner in 2022. We do have, at least on the schedule, 2 more town halls. Excuse me, one next week, and then one, I guess, the Monday before the holidays really get into high gear. So yeah, I guess I'll be back with those in about a week from now. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.